Life of Norman, narrated by the bearded Brit. Norman woke up dreading the day ahead of him. Normally, Norman considered himself a morning person, but he made the dreadful mistake of watching just one more episode of CSI New York than usual the night before. Norman lay in bed staring at the ceiling with a scowl on his face. He knew today would be a slow day at work, so he came up with an elaborate cover story, grabbed his corded phone next to the bed, and called into the office. The secretary was at the other end. Norman informed her that he would be taking a sick day, slightly stammering and stuttering, trying to remember the cover story he'd made up, but forgetting it all at the last second. The secretary, seeming more preoccupied with something else, simply said she would make note of it, and said to get better soon. With that, they both hung up. Norman held the handle of the phone for a few seconds after hanging up, clenching with intensity. He had never done anything like this before. He's taken sick days, but never when he wasn't actually sick. Norman was filled with an energy he'd never felt before. He did something bold, daring, and dare he say, defiant. But alas, now he had the whole day to do whatever he wanted. In his excitement, Norman jumped out of bed rather quickly and became lightheaded. He quickly rushed to the bathroom, where he proceeded to vomit. Norman stayed in bed that day. It was a Friday in the summer, and Norman was feeling giddy. Not only did he not have work tomorrow, but today was hardly a work day at all. It was the 50-year celebration of his company's existence. He'd work from 9 till noon, and then take a 2-hour catered lunch with co-workers. They'd get back to work afterward, but the mood would always be joyous. Overwhelmed, he started to sing a pop song he'd heard on the radio as he drove into the parking lot, windows down. He made it through the first lines of the refrain a few times. It was the only portion of the song he knew the words to. As he pulled into his spot, he noticed a younger co-worker of his had recently arrived in the adjacent spot. Not a single pane of auto glass had separated Norman's poor musical taste and bad singing from the younger co-worker, whose bumper was littered with band stickers and memorabilia from rock climbing trips. Norman was filled with shame. He considered the 2-hour lunch with co-workers. Perhaps he could feign he'd forgotten, or that he had too much work and slink off early for a hamburger. At least today was Friday. It was a beautiful Saturday morning, and Norman was up bright and early. He was sitting next to his window, feeling the summer-scented breeze on his face, hearing the birds singing happily outside. He decided today would be an excellent day for a hike. Norman didn't go hiking often, nor did he often go on such long walks, but he would feel guilty if he wasted this gorgeous day. He filled his book bag with some granola bars, a local birdwatching guide, and a bottle of water, amongst other things. Upon first entering the trail, he took a few sips of his water bottle. It was very sunny out, and Norman was quite parched, having forgotten to drink some water before leaving. The beginning of the trail featured a slight incline. When Norman reached about halfway, he was panting heavily, sweat beginning to bead down his forehead. Norman was unfortunately more out of shape than he thought. He took out his water bottle, already partially empty, and drank the remainder of the bottle. He looked at the now empty bottle in his hand, and then looked at the remaining climb ahead of him, then back at his empty bottle. Norman decided to call it a day and walk back to his car. "I'll pack more water next time," thought Norman. Norman was riding his bicycle down the street one day. He always felt like a kid again when he rode his bicycle. He felt so youthful, in fact, that he decided to do something daring. Norman gained some speed, then lifted up on the handlebars, making his front tyre rise into the air about 6 inches. The tyre then landed with a thud and a slight squeak. Worried he may have damaged the bicycle in his recklessness, he quickly pulled over, flipped the bike upside down, and inspected the wheel. Nothing was damaged, but Norman biked much more cautiously for the rest of the day. If you like this video, let me know by pressing the like button, or by leaving me a comment that highlights the crippling self-doubt that lives within us all. For more of these videos, you should subscribe to this channel, as I aim to post 2 to 3 videos a week. Don't forget to let me know your favourite Norman stories, and I'll try and include them in future videos. As per the norm, you'll find links to the featured stories, as well as links to the recording gear I use in the description below.